How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Crafting Cars. This is now part 10 of the Hurricane NSX build. We are now 100 hours into this project car, and I suspect we probably got another 200 hours left. I hope you guys had a good Memorial Day. I know I did. Me and my fiance took a road trip down to Chicago. Of course, we went to go pick up some car parts, but I needed something for my 94 Acura Legend. You can see it's got a crack in the windshield. Now, we made a whole adventure out of it. We stayed the night in a hotel. We went and saw the Bean. And get this, that new windshield that I sourced from Frank's Auto Glass, shout out to you guys down in Chicago, was $130. An absolute steal for a 94 Legend windshield. Obviously, I had to make the trip. And it's good glass, too. It's not that Safelite baloney. It's actual PPG glass. The next closest place where I could find a windshield for this car was Texas, so once I found that glass, I knew exactly how I was going to spend my Memorial Day. Because of the trip, though, and how busy I was the last week, I'm going to have to delay the video one day, so happy Wednesday! Today we're going to finish that taillight harness and test it out. So here is where we left off with our rear lighting system harness. We were just about ready to splice it into the factory harness, but then we found out that the factory harness actually had some corrosion. That worked out okay though, because it gave us time to order these Deutsch connectors. So since we're working with really 8 amp power circuits here, we use DT size connectors. If you're working with lower amp stuff, you use DTM, and higher amp stuff, you use DTP. Now, with the different connectors, there's a couple different size contacts you can get. So for DT, it's usually size 16 contacts, and they're usually good for 16 to 20 gauge wires, but our ground wires are 14 gauge. So I had to get these special pins here, as well as the sockets. You see they got a green stripe on them. That indicates that these allow 14 gauge wires as well. There's definitely a learning curve with these connectors, but once you get it all figured out, they're actually really nice to work with. So I've got my closed barrel contact crimp tool here set to 14 gauge, and I figured let's just knock out all the ground wires first. So we'll just strip these back, load in our special 14 gauge pins, and give it a squeeze. Perfect. That just makes sure the pins don't wiggle around in there. So there we go. The male side harness is now complete, and it looks pretty good. As for the female side of this harness, that's where this package comes in. This one is from Japan here, and it should be brand new OEM harnesses for all the taillights, as well as the license plate lights. Nice. So yeah, we got one for the left-hand side, one for the right-hand side lights. There's your cellar right there. A lot of good parts. And is this license plate light harness? Yes, it is. We really only need the pigtails for all these lights. So I got everything laid out, right? And I noticed we're missing the left and the right-hand side turn signal socket. So I went ahead and I ordered those. I guess they're not included in the left and right socket sets. It is what it is. It is not the end of the world though, since they use an 1156 bulb and so does the reverse light. So once I get my connectors on here, they're both 2-wire. I'll just be able to take this and boop, test to make sure that the wiring is good on the turn signals. So like I mentioned in a previous video, we're going to be using Diode Dynamics LEDs on this build. These are very high quality, and I'm very excited to see what they look like all powered up. So let me get my camera up on a tripod. I'll switch this thing into time-lapse mode, and we'll finally knock this harness out. Well, there you have it. Our taillight harness is pretty much finished besides those 2 sockets, and I'm about ready to install it in the car. First things first, I had to get all the gasket material off the taillights, Here's all that old crusty gasket material we removed. It did not come off easy, and I'm glad we're replacing it because it still had that moldy smell to it. We're replacing it with these brand new gaskets from Resto Tuner. These look to be pretty nice. So I got a little bit more material to remove here. It's pretty stubborn like I was saying, so I've had to use some goof off in some areas, and I printed myself a little plastic scraper and it's been helping a lot. I also got to make sure that I clean up this surface as well. All that's probably going to take me a bit, so I think it's time for another video montage. Okay, so we got all our light housings reinstalled on the car. All the lights are wired up. I made myself a little test harness here. I'm excited to see if this all works. I'm sure you guys are on the edge of your seats, so let's shut off the main light. And we're about to find out. So starting off, we'll do the driving lights. Got the iconic 3 lights on each side. License plate lights look good. All right, good deal. Now, say you want to hit the brakes. Got the 2 bright lights on either side, and the wing still works. These cars are awesome. I doubt the video does it justice at all. All right, now say you want to throw it in reverse. Holy moly, those are bright. Whoa. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you guys remember, I got to move those reverse lights over to the turn signals so I could test those, since we're still waiting on our turn signal sockets in the mail. So here goes the left signal. Awesome. And finally, the right signal. Very nice. You got to see them.
Whoa, cool. So bright.
Yeah, so these are the brake lights. You can see even the spoiler lights on.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna go ahead and call today a success. Right now I've got the driving lights and the brake lights on, and it looks awesome. This will probably be the thumbnail for the video. Of course, I still gotta get those 2 turn signal sockets in the mail, but once I get those, installing that will take like 5 minutes. And then I gotta pick up some nuts from the hardware store so I can finish securing that harness up against the wall of the chassis, just so when you're driving around, the harness isn't wiggling around and stuff. So for the interior of the trunk, which we're probably gonna be working on in the next episode, I decided we're not gonna go OEM carpet in there. We're gonna do something that's gonna be extremely lightweight, yet look pretty cool and kind of work with what we got going on there, and it should hide all the electronics and everything in there. So yeah, it'll be a nice, usable trunk that stays nice and light. And how we're gonna do that is not by using 1 layer of carbon, because that's really flimsy. We're not gonna be using my polyurethane foam, because that's really flimsy. But I found through a little online research that if you take 1 layer of carbon, 1 layer of foam, and another layer of carbon and sandwich them together, it makes an ultra light, ultra strong, I cannot even break it, panel. And so I started experimenting with that. I started pouring different foam molds because, of course, not only do we have the floor of the trunk, but we have the rounded corners. And I also made this panel here. So this is still curing a little bit, but this is extremely light. This is a huge carbon fiber panel. This will be our new trunk floor. So I'm very excited to keep working on that. Like I said, I got a lot of experimentation going on behind the scenes. You guys only see the highlight reel. So until then, thank you for tuning in to Crafting Cars. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.